Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. You're watching Plant Abundance. Well, the weekend's winding down, and the wife and I decided to head out to the garden and spend the last hour or so just doing a bit of garden maintenance and getting ready for this upcoming spring. We're a bit behind on some of the tasks, such as removing these tomato plants from the garden, and there's still some green tomatoes hanging on these plants, which we collect and utilize. Although they can be eaten green, if you just allow them to sit on the counter for a while, they'll ripen up. So we're going to go ahead and remove these plants and clear this garden bed for the most part, leave some of the greens growing, but just get things ready for planting out. This is a pretty quick and easy job. When it comes to tomato plants, you definitely want to remove the entire plant from the garden and not add it into the compost pile. I realize it's tempting to do so, and it might not make sense to everyone, but there's a lot of fungi, bacteria, wilt, and other diseases that can actually overwinter on tomato plants, and you really don't want that hanging around in the garden. So tomato plants are one of the few items that I actually remove completely from the garden. Check this out. When I was pulling up that last plant, we got all this mycelium that was growing around the roots of the plant. Really good sign. Another one of the benefits to hugelkultur gardening is the formation of mycelium is rather rampant, and this raised bed was actually a hidden hugelkultur bed. So rather than filling the whole thing with gardening soil, I first added in logs, branches, and other organic material from the garden and piled some good soil on top of that for planting. And I'm happy to report we've had great success growing things in these beds. So in no time at all, we've got those tomato plants removed, and we're just going to continue doing a bit of cleanup, make sure there's no leftover tomato leaves hanging out in the bed. So the bulk of everything I threw out. This smaller stuff, which has a lot of wood chips in there and a few rotten tomatoes as well, I'm just going to throw it in the chicken coop and let them deal with it. It's always nice to have your partner with you out in the garden working towards a common goal. Makes things go by quicker, it's funner, and then you both get to experience the rewards together of your labor. I found the easiest way to remove tomato plants from their cage is to pull it out in reverse order that it grew up into the cage. And I like to set these large tomato cages to the side near the fence line, out of the way, until we start up our tomato plants again next year, and then I'll pull these out. So here's what we ended up with, and you can see we've got a little bit of topping to do this upcoming season. Add some fresh soil, some mulch, just to bring it back up to level. Look at my sweetie. Alright, so we still got some time left before the sun goes completely down, so we're just going to go ahead and work on the second garden bed. I got this trellis here that I want to take down. I'm going to have to rebuild the trellis next year, but the netting has kind of started to sag and it's gotten 2 seasons out of this little section. So what I'm going to do with this plastic netting, rather than just throw it out, is I'm going to utilize it in the garden. With all the dried up vining limbs that have crawled throughout the trellis, it's also going to help create a camouflage that should protect it from some of the wildlife. Now, I had a heck of a time removing this second post. I didn't bore you with all that footage, but it took me quite a bit of work and energy to get that post out. I remember when I had tamped it in that I was going deep into probably what was a large root from one of the previous trees that was over here. So it was just wedged in there. But I finally got it out. They do make a fence post puller, which I look forward to getting in the future. It's great to have around the homestead. But for now, I just got to muscle those posts out using the legs and being careful with the back. We made some good progress in the garden today, had a good time together. The last thing to do, Alice is going to harvest some greens for tonight's dinner, and I'm going to feed some dinner to the fish. Just want to thank everyone for tuning in to the video. Hope you're all having a great day. If you could, please remember to rate this video and shoot us a comment below. It helps the channel to grow. And if you haven't already, we'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. New videos every week, sometimes every day, and we're always giving you updates on all the projects growing on around here. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.